Welcome to the Divine Feminines podcast and channel. I'm your host, Steph.dsa, and in today's video, we're talking full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Yes, a powerful supermoon. Before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel, The Divine Feminines, on YouTube. We're on all major podcast platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple, you name it. And you can catch us on social. That's Divine Feminines with a Z on TikTok and on Instagram. Why like and subscribe us? Well, you get loads of great content on mind, body, soul, empowerment, the twin flame journey, high vibrational soul connection, moon manifestation, moon magic, and a lot more. So this full moon is a big one. It's a supermoon. What is a supermoon? It's a lunar eclipse. What is a lunar eclipse? What does the Scorpio energy bring? And we're in the sun season of Taurus. We've got a couple of retrogrades, Pluto and Mercury retrograde. I mean, that's a lot. So I'm going to run through what all of these transits and what all of these movements are bringing to us, so that we can, take advantage and really take ownership for ourselves at this time, and really ride the wave of this energetic reset, this new rebirth, this transformational moment for us. I've also pulled some guidance cards, some tarot and moonology cards, and also will leave you with some journal prompts. And because this full moon has an essence of both love and career, money and finances, sort of gratification and instant kind of pleasures with Taurus, plus with Scorpio, it's a powerful rebirth, transformative energy with Pluto and Mars being its ruling planets. There's a lot here that we can kind of journal prompt to open up the space, to clear out, so that when we get to our new moon, and the next new moon is in Gemini, we can really kind of hone in on some deeper manifestations and expansion for our journeys. So let's talk lunar eclipse. Right, so if you listened to my video before on the new moon in Taurus, that was a solar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is when the earth casts a shadow on the moon. And so this energy is very much, this movement is very much a time of reset. It's very much a time of really, that point of casting a shadow. It's casting a shadow on us as well. If we think about Scorpio and that shadow of going into our shadow and looking at our deeper internal selves and the mysticism around us, the things that are behind the surface. Now, lunar eclipses always happen between two axes, and now we're in a period of this being between Scorpio and Taurus. Right now it's Scorpio South Node and Taurus in the North Node for this season of eclipse, and then in the fall, as we approach Scorpio season, it will be the other way around. So Taurus in the South Node and Scorpio in the North Node. Really and truthfully, this energy is going to be very much our eclipse energy up until 2023. So what does that mean? Well, Scorpio is all about intuition, mysticism, the occult, deeper fears, emotions, going in, tapping into your intuition, really understanding your deepest, darkest secrets. Where do you hold fears? Where do you hold resentment? The sides of us sometimes that we don't always like to look at, but also it allows us to look at these areas and find where we can hold our power and, really rebirth ourselves, going through a sort of a type of death, let's say, an ego death, an energetic death of ourselves, of a version of us that no longer serves us. And, transforming into the phoenix that rises from the ashes to a better, more, empowered version of ourselves. So it really requires causing a lot of self-mastery. Taurus, on the other hand, is very much about stability, finances, pleasure, ruled by Venus. So, what gives us pleasure, what gives us kind of gratification, instant gratification, and how we kind of create structure. So there's a big difference between these two, because there's that polarity, right? That's why they're the opposite ends of the axes. Scorpio is all about death, rebirth, destruction. What doesn't serve you anymore, let it go and then rebuild. And that actually, that process provides the opportunity to create space, because you remove everything and then you allow the space to just only take through what you need to. And this isn't just, I mean, I'm not talking physical space, I'm talking energetic space, I'm talking about emotional space, I'm talking about psychological space within us, and also in our spirit and in our soul, even in our heart space too. And then you've got Taurus, that is very much about stability and structure. So they're very two different energies, but it's about finding the balance between the two. Where you may be a bit too more on the sort of physical 3D sense of things, the outer shell of your life, and not paying attention to the sort of deeper, darkest secrets within yourself, maybe where you're holding grudges or fears, or, you need to let go of some things, or, you need to understand whether you're really using your intuition, trusting your gut. So this is the polarity between the two. At this time, it's a very auspicious time because we're in this eclipse energy, and plus it's a supermoon. What's a supermoon? It's when the moon is closest to the earth. So we're really close. It's almost like the veil is really thin. It's like when we have portals, like the 5-5 portal that just passed about a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to be approaching the 6-6 portal. And I've been getting a lot of downloads and advanced warnings about this 6-6 portal being a very powerful, potent time for activation. 6, we're in a year 6, and it also means harmony, balancing, healing of connections, relationships, family, union, divine, sacred counterpart unions for those that are on those journeys and resonate. So we are really in a very exciting, powerful time if we definitely take the time to hone in on this energy and take accountability, rather than the eclipse coming and shaking up our world and ripping it apart, because it can do that, because we're not taking ownership to do the work and say, actually, I'm taking ownership and I see where I need to let go of things, I see where I need to kind of transform or do the work. The solar eclipse kind of brings up these moments of what it is that does need to kind of change, or that what might change, some things that are hidden that we're not aware of, not just only in ourselves but in our external reality. And the lunar eclipse really surfaces those things, whether internal or externally. So know that if you're kind of shying away from going into your shadow, which is doing that kind of deeper look at yourself, the lunar eclipse will bring up moments, reality checks for you, and may orchestrate certain things with the universe to get your attention, to pay attention to what needs to be released or worked on or transformed within yourself, so that you can show up differently in your external reality. And you may experience a lot of chaos. So I'm going to talk retrogrades. We've got 2 retrogrades going on right now. First of all, we've got Pluto retrograde. It's about 6 months, and that started earlier on, late April. And Pluto is, again, ruler of Scorpio, but in this retrograde, it's a bit more of a slower burn. So that it's supporting transformation, but in a more softer way. It's not coming and ripping it apart. So eclipse energy does quite an abrupt kind of, come on, let's go. If you're not kind of getting with the times, towers are coming through, it needs to crumble. We need to crumble, whether it's your ego that needs to crumble. We're going to make you experience situations that's going to make you realize that certain things need to be let go of, whether it's in yourself, in your ego, or physical situations with people that you need to step away from. This is not serving me no more. This is toxic, blah, blah, blah. Now, Pluto in retrograde assists with a transformative energy, but it's a slow burner, so it doesn't feel so like it's ripping you out, but it's more like slowly but surely allowing you to change, to take a different direction, to do that sort of transition in a slower, more maybe steadier way, which can be quite helpful, because sometimes these changes, they're not easy. Personally, I don't know what I'd prefer. I'm a Scorpio, so I prefer let's just do it and go. But I guess being a Scorpio, I'm very used to this energy. And when you're on the ascension journey, and you're used to the self-mastery, you play with these energies in a sense that you understand it's coming, and you're like, well, how can I get the most out of it? And that's why I'm here with with these videos, because I want us, and I want all of you to kind of be in a position of where you're feeling empowered and you don't feel scared by a full moon or what could the transits bring, but you're kind of saying, okay, how best can I get out, you know, what's the best I can get out of this? So the other retrograde is Mercury, and when I mention chaos, when Mercury goes into retrograde, it can really throw up communication, technology, all of those things that you may hear about. Like, it kind of makes things a little bit difficult to, you know, communicate. It might not be the best time to sign contracts, all of that stuff. I think a lot of you may know about that. I won't get too deep into it, but it can make people feel quite aggressive, annoyed, erratic, and full moon energy does that too. But with the Mercury retrograde, it is a time of like going in and self-reflection, just taking a bit of a step back to yourself and really like kind of allowing yourself to level up, you know, doing that internal work changes your external reality. So I really feel like this Mercury retrograde is also going hand in hand with this, you know, scorpionic lunar eclipse energy, this supermoon energy, stepping back, taking time for self, really going within and saying, what is it that, you know, that I need to kind of look at in myself? What are my fears? You know, is it that especially with Mercury, things from the past come back? Now, this could be feelings from the past where you're experiencing a situation and you're starting to feel this feeling like, and it really feels, it's hitting quite hard, and you're like, why does that affect me so much? Well, actually, it could be something to do with a past life or from when you were younger as a child. So think about those things at this time. I'm going to give some journal prompts, but definitely think about those things. Also, people might be coming back from the past, and it's a chance for you to kind of clear the air or let go of things. Maybe you were holding resentment. Maybe you feel like they didn't really like you or they held a grudge. Could you, you know, put your arm out? Could you kind of make a peace, make amends? So these things are coming back, whether they're, you know, within our subconscious mind from the past, we're experiencing something and those thoughts and feelings are coming up, like literally we're feeling it, or we bump into someone, or we have communication or with someone from the past, or we experience a situation that is completely similar to something in the past. These things are showing up to help us let go of any trauma, wounds, thought patterns and behaviors that no longer serve us. So with Pluto retrograde and this full moon, it's a great time to completely reset. And like I usually would say, you know, take time out over this full moon and kind of and do sort of some self-care and just do a full moon ritual. But I am going to say that, but then I'm also going to say, but this Mercury retrograde is going on until June 3rd, I think it is. And then the shadow continues to June 16th. I know, I don't know about you, but I know for myself, I'm going to be out there, but I'm not going to be out there. Like, I'm going to spend some time and make sure I've got my time alone, which personally I do a lot of anyway. So if you're struggling to do that on a general basis, this is really a time to do it, because this is the time to really allow yourself that reset. There are cycles closing, and there is a massive opportunity to have a great new rebirth in both love and in career and finances. So, I mean, it can't get better than that. If you're willing to go deep into your shadow, then the universe is willing to bring the light, the abundance and the prosperity your way, and the fulfillment, because like Scorpio is about passion. It's about what really lights your soul on fire and really gets you going. Who doesn't love a Scorpio? Ugh. I know I do. But it can get quite intense and it can get quite scary. So for those that are not used to that watery energy, because Scorpio is a water sign, you know, and they're in more of an air or fire or earthy energy, when that water comes like sweeping through, those waves come, it can feel really intense. So for any of you that kind of don't feel comfortable in emotions, this is a time to start to get a bit more familiar with it. I always say our emotions are do not make us. They are something that we have to be friends with. I almost like to say, well, they're passing by, they're passers by. I can confront and accept these emotions, but they don't make me and they don't define me. I allow them to pass through. I acknowledge them at the point that they come. I understand what messages they're bringing me, and just like a messenger, and I send them on their way afterwards. But I've not ignored them, because it's when we ignore them that we allow things to build up under the surface, and that's when the shadow side can get quite scary to want to go into. So there may be fears about that. All right, so what else have we got? Well, I'm going to help you come up with some key journal prompts. But first off, I've got some messages here, and it's really interesting. So I've pulled tarot, I've pulled some love messages, and I've also pulled some Moonology cards. So with the tarot, what I'm really seeing here is that you have the ability to have a brand new passionate beginning with the Ace of Inspiration, and with the Empress, you know, you've got what it takes to birth a new project. And actually there is a conjunction here right now with Neptune in this period, so you can really get some great luck. And so if there's a new idea you've got, you want to go in a new path or step out of your comfort zone, it's a great time. Definitely follow your intuition, and remember what I said, you know, Scorpio is about, you know, your intuition, and right now the veil is really thin, so things associated with your intuition literally will manifest or align very fast for you. So go with inspired action, follow your gut. There's a passionate new beginning that you can co-create. But I mean, the full moon is kind of like saying, well, what can we clear out, right? Well, there is going to be a revisiting. It's the 8 of emotions in reverse. That's the 8 of cups in reverse with the 2 of wands, 2 of inspiration. Revisiting anything from the past, fears, feelings, you know, whatever that is for you, and kind of working out, well, what is it that I need to leave, let go of, come to terms with, and then that will allow you to get more clarity of your direction, because that might be holding you back in some way. Okay, and then we've got the Awakening card in reverse with the Lovers upright, and what I'm feeling here is the Awakening is like a judgment call, right? So when it's in reverse, it's like, well, what is it that you need to be doing or facing in your shadow side, fears, emotions that are kind of preventing you from going in that next stage of your awakening or your journey. It's like I said, it's our intuition. It's taking that calling from the divine, going within and doing a bit of that sort of self-reflection to understand what that is to propel us forward. And then with that, the Lovers, well, it can very much be a soulmate connection, twin flame, a very high vibrational, you know, a very deep, intense, passionate love that is coming in with this. If you're taking the step to allow yourself to close out certain cycles in your shadow. But it can also mean a big decision, a very life-changing decision is going to show itself. One that is a great decision to have, to make a decision on, and you're like, whoa. So take it either or as it resonates. And then, you know, there's this 4 of wands, 4 of inspiration in reverse with the two of emotions, 2 of cups. And what I feel here is that, you know, when you do go into that sort of shadow side and you allow yourself to look at some things from the past, it may make you feel like, actually, what I know, my current reality, my current stability, it actually does need to change. So remember what we said about Taurus structure and everything, but Scorpio transformation, death, rebirth. Maybe there's some things that do need to change, but what's really happening is that it could be thought patterns, it could be actual physical 3D reality. Whatever that is, it is bringing about a great, powerful partnership. So all of this is like really interlinked. This powerful partnership could be a love, 2 of cups, 2 of emotions, you know, soulmate love, twin flame love, high vibrational soul connection, very beautiful energy. Your person, basically, your divine counterpart. That can be bringing about that, or it could be a business partnership, a career kind of decision where you're going into business with someone or something like that. So overall, the message here is that you have a powerful opportunity to manifest, co-create. You've got all of it there. There's a passionate new beginning, but you are being asked to go into your shadow, revisit things, whether that's fears, things that are holding you back. Maybe you need to forgive someone. Maybe you need to release some emotions. And that will then give you the clarity to move forward. And by doing that, you are kind of taking that next stage in your awakening journey, in your journey here on this earth. And that will allow you to have a big opportunity. Could be with love, could be making a decision to go in the direction of a new business or a new career venture. And basically bringing about a very beautiful partnership, whether love or career. So I think, you know, like I said, this was perfect because the two themes are like, you know, love and career with Scorpio, and passion and sort of and 3D sort of monetary gain with Taurus, right? So can't get better than that. I mean, the cards were just lining it up for me, and I have to be thankful that I'm here able to share these messages that are being sent through me, because I am really just a channel for these messages. Now, before we get into journal prompts, I wanted to, you know, look at some love messages for those that are on this, on soulmate journeys, twin flame journeys, high vibrational kind of journeys right now. So that you can use this time during this full moon, this lunar eclipse, to release any heavy energy, or, you know, let go of anything that you might be holding on to and you might not be aware of. So here's the themes that I'm getting. Some of you may be in separation, and I got the separation card, and some of you may be actually just going into it or coming out of it, but you're not sure. Now, there may have been a lot of fears when you had this separation and when it started. Have you really looked at all of that? Have you looked at any fears you've had? Do you have any grudges? Are you still holding on to any resentment that was related to this separation? Are you blaming the other? What is it that you need to release or let go of? And are there any kind of feelings that are coming up when you think about this? You can write this down. Full moon ritual. Write down, you know, what are the feelings and thoughts that come to mind when you think about this separation, and have I released them, and you know, anything that you need to say about that. And also for those that might just be feeling that they're coming out of it, is there anything left that you need to kind of let go of there? Now, I've got here, this is it's separation first, and then it came out with reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Now, this is Mercury retrograde. So you may be having someone from the past coming to reconcile. It could be a couple of scenarios. It could be someone coming to just reconcile, to make peace and make amends, like just to sort of, you know, sort of they're aware of their behavior, or they just want peace with you, and nothing more, and that's it. And you don't want more, and that's fine. But they could be coming back to make amends, to actually continue a journey with you. Now, however that resonates for you, you may already be experiencing this. Are there any feelings, things that you feel like you need to get off your chest? Now, yes, of course, you can speak to them about it, of course. But energetically, what is it that you might be upset about? What was it that, do you really feel like you released everything here? Again, what are the fears? What are the fears about them coming up and talking to you as well? Like, have they already bumped into you? If they were to, do you have any fears? Because this is something that you can release ahead of that. And hypothetically, you could say to yourself, if so-and-so was to bump into me and starts talking to me like everything's hunky-dory and all okay, am I okay with that? Maybe, you know, maybe I'm not. And so you can energetically let go of any sort of upset fears that occurred, again, from this separation, that will put you in a best position for, you know, making peace with this person, with this situation, whether you decide to give it another go or not, but making peace. Because remember, when we have that peace within ourselves, we create peace all around us. And so it's all about our internal situation, right? Our internal reality. Then we've got children. Now, there may have been situations where you were triggered a lot, right, in this connection, and you might still be getting triggered. I feel that there's a sense of, you know, you're being, this situation was really affected by your inner child. There could have been situations that your child or their children could have played a role, but there's something in your inner child wounds. So are there any things that you feel in your gut that you haven't fully cleared out? Because remember, healing never stops. And so when certain things are happening, I always like to look at healing as an onion, and we're constantly peeling back those layers of the onion. And inner child healing and wounds can still kind of perpetuate. You might have said, no, I've cleared that abandonment issue with my dad, or I've cleared that feeling of self-worth and, you know, from childhood. But sometimes it does peak up again because there's still some residue, right? And when I speak of residue as well, so that's something you can journal prompt. Is there any fears from your childhood? Is there anything that you feel like I've not fully grasped, and I'm not fully like, you know, comfortable with myself here because it makes me scared, it makes me fearful. You know, Scorpio just brings up the fears. So what was it from childhood that got you really scared, that now if you were to meet somebody, reconcile with them or come out of a separation with them, would you still have those? Do you really feel that it's completely gone? And if you feel quite heavy energy from the other person, it could be because they've got some fears, they've got some self-worth issues from childhood, right? And actually, if you're picking up on it, then there's a likelihood that there is something in you that needs to be cleared. So I can't tell you what that is. It's about digging and going, you know, what is it that I'm feeling? I'm feeling heavy, but do I feel anything in particular? Does it remind me of anything? Am I being called to want to do something that makes me feel at peace? Why? And really just slowly but surely kind of unravel, but definitely connect with your intuition. You can always ask your guides and your archangels to kind of help you understand what it is that you might be feeling there. And, you know, again, I got this card, getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens, your hand deepens. I don't know why I said that. Your hand deepens, your bond deepens. So again, this is a time about really being comfortable with who you are. Are you fully comfortable with who you are? Do you fully like accept yourself? Because, you know, and your shadow. So if you can accept your shadow and be comfortable in your shadow, then when you're showing up in a connection, you can feel able to do that and not feel like you're pushing the other person away. Again, if you're in a dynamic which is a high vibrational soul connection, twin flame, if you're feeling heavy energy and you're like, this is not mine, this is theirs, or whatever, it can be theirs because you're very connected, but there could be things about their inner world that they're trying to sort through, whether it's, you know, I don't feel good enough, I'm not ready for this, I don't deserve this, I'm not deserving. The reason why they're still feeling those things is because they need to clear them, but there's something also in you. You can also ask to remove any soul fragments of you within them and of them within you, and to dissolve them. So that's also another thing that you can ask for at this time. And finally, you deserve love, you're lovable. So really spend some time in this Mercury retrograde and ask yourself when you journal, am I doing enough things to dedicate self-love time to myself? You know, are you getting time alone? Are you getting enough time alone? Do you get enough time alone? Do you get time where you can just really sit there with yourself and receive as well? Because self-love is also being able to like allow ourselves to receive from others. Maybe it's going for a nice massage, it's going for a nice walk, it's taking time out. I know we all live busy lives, but this is really about balance. It's about going, do I spend enough of that time with myself, as much as I'm out there having fun and, you know, the Taurus energy, you know, the self-pleasure and doing all these great things, but do I take time alone? Am I balancing those two worlds well? Okay. Other journal prompts for you guys, I would say, is very much based on what I'm getting in these Moonology cards. So honor your feelings. What is it that you may be feeling right now? Are you feeling kind of overwhelmed? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling sad? Do you feel depressed? And where do you feel those feelings are coming from? Ask yourself that and write those things down. And if the feelings are to do with somebody, do you need to forgive? And this is a great time to write that forgiveness list down. Being humble, because again, like with Taurus energy, we can be kind of all over the place and, you know, get excited about what's happening in the 3D reality. But humbling ourselves and understanding who we are and in our shadow will allow us to really love ourselves as well. And it's a really honorable energy to have, an honorable trait to have. So where can you humble yourself? Are you still holding on to egoic ways, whether that's in your connection or how you show up? And what is it that you feel you may need to humble yourself on? You know, you may, a lot of divine feminines kind of see themselves as, oh, I've done a lot of the work. They haven't. The divine masculine hasn't. Well, no, maybe they are, and you just don't know how much they're doing just because they don't talk or they don't say it. Or you just, I mean, the feminines do feel like they're slightly ahead most of the times, but it doesn't mean that they're ahead in a linear way. They might be ahead in some areas, but the divine masculines are ahead in other areas. This is not a competition. And when we start to look at that, we create a divide, we create division, and there is no such thing as a separation. It's all an illusion. So when you understand that, you'll really realize that actually this is all interconnected, it's interwoven. Whatever I do has an impact, whatever they do has an impact. But if there's something that I feel is connected to me, then it's connected to me for a reason, and there's something that I have the ability to own and take accountability for. Okay, so then we have trust the universe. Brilliant. So ask yourself, when was the last time I trusted my intuition or my gut? And do I listen to my intuition and my gut? Journal that one, because this is a really powerful one, so you can understand how often you are really connecting in with your intuition. Okay, and then we've got forgive. So who is it that I need to forgive? Do I even need to forgive myself? Have I got grudges against anyone? Is there any situations that I still feel a little bit upset about, whether it's in the past or it's with this particular love interest or person? Or is it to do with work? You know, do I need to let go and forgive certain people I work with, or for certain situations that happen, maybe even family? What is it that's in my shadow that I need to forgive? Write those down. You can write down names, you can write down situations, scenarios, whatever it is. And really unleash your kindest self. And this is about the kindness, not just to your, it's all encompassing. So be really kind to yourself at this time, right? But also, if there's an opportunity where you sort of like, is there anyone that I think that's got a grudge against me, is a good one? And why do I think that they've got a grudge against me? And see it from a higher perspective, right? Be humble and see it from a higher perspective. We're all just humans, souls living human experiences, and we're all just souls, right? So where is it maybe that maybe you can put your hand out and, you know, offer, you know, your hand and just be a bit of the one that's trying to make peace? Or is it that you feel that you actually have done someone wrong and that you need to kind of look at yourself and say, what did I do? And do I need to kind of forgive myself, but also show myself some kindness and forgive that old version of me as well? So I hope all of this helps you. I think that's all the journal prompts. I think you've got a ton there. But the other one is actually, what is it that I like? What has immediate gratification helped me to feel? What has it done for me? And that's a good one, because if you feel like you're very driven by immediate gratification, and you know that's the Taurus, and Scorpio is very much about delayed gratification. It's about trusting, it's about allowing things to unfold, it's about the intuition going, I know, and there's a deeper, longer journey here. Not necessarily longer by time, but there's a process to this, right? Understand that, because if you are definitely aligned to I need instant gratification, and this world and day and age is very much one touch, one click of a button and you get it. So, you know, have a look at that and see where it might be, you know, holding you back, because you're always looking for things straight away. And actually, if you're a bit more patient and you understand delayed gratification, you would really enjoy the journey as it's unfolding, rather than waiting for a destination or an outcome, especially when you're in, you know, looking for a new opportunity with work or business, or a love outcome, especially those on the journey that are looking for union. You know, is that all you're focused on, or are you actually not more focused on the unfolding of your journey and your evolution of your of becoming your highest self and enjoying the now, right? And finally, you can reflect on the last 6 months and say, what am I proud of? What am I proud of in myself, you know, because it's a great time to kind of give yourself some pats on the back and say, you know, I've achieved this in the last 6 months. It could be to do with your healing journey, could be to do with your self-reflection, a new routine that you've started, whatever that might mean for you. This is a great time to just also give yourself a pat on the back and say, well done, I'm proud of you because you've achieved these great things in this time. And it also allows you, you know, I always say celebrate the small wins. So there could be small things that you've achieved, big things, whatever they are, they all add up. And it makes you feel accomplished to know that you have the strength and the ability to go into this new cycle and this great reset that's happening right now. So with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment and I will catch you soon. Love, light, peace and abundance, Soul Tribe. Mwah, 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 mwah.